Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. We have a 11-game Draftkings and Fanduel slate that we're going to take a look at today. So let's get into it. There's a ton of players that are questionable or listed out. A lot of stars. So it should be another interesting slate. Let's get into it. As always, for updates, they'll be posted on Twitter later in the day, closer to lock. If you enjoy the videos, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get started. So point guard plays, you have James Harden. He is leading the way at $10,100. Joel Embiid is once again listed out for today, so it should be Harden. He played 43 minutes in the OT game. He was pretty solid, but could have done a little better with the shooting, just 8 of 20. But he's a fine play against Chicago. He's not a must play when you have so many other options, I'd say, that are also in great spots. I don't mind LaMelo, but I probably won't pay $10K for him. Same thing for like SJ and Lillard. I like some of the cheaper picks a little bit better. 8K range, you have Kyrie Irving. He looks fine. But I'm going back to $8,500 CJ McCollum as my first guy. Zion is out for weeks. Doesn't look like Ingram is ready to play. I don't think he's been ruled out yet for this contest, but the coach, Willie Green, said that he's not ready to take part in any games yet, even though he's starting to practice. So I'm assuming he's going to be listed out for today's contest, and that's going to lead to CJ McCollum just having to carry the team. Last game, just played 35 minutes, which could have played a little bit more. I'd say if the game was more closer. They were up big in the fourth quarter, and then the Rockets made it look closer at the end. So he wouldn't be surprised if he plays like 37 plus, maybe 38. He's going to shoot a ton, took 21 shots, probably can get you same amount, maybe up to 25 in what should be a fast-paced game against the Brooklyn Nets, and it's they're at home, so hopefully expecting it to be a competitive game, which, just like, not really in a business to project blowouts unless it's pretty obvious, but the Bulls were able to beat the Nets last game after some people might have been worried about a blowout for the other side. Other picks would be the Lakers are going to be shorthanded today. They're missing a lot of role players. Reeves is out. Westbrook, he's probable, so expect him to play. They're also missing Lonnie Walker. So that makes Westbrook look a little bit better, but I probably still, he's almost 8K. I like these other guys a little bit better. Van Fleet, 74, looks fine. 6K range, you have DeAnthony Melton at 6K flat. They started 3 guards last game. It worked out for them. Played 37 minutes, played well. So probably would have played like 32 in regulation. Value picks, the Clippers got blown out. John Wall is listed out for today. Their stars played like 13, 14 minutes, so I'll expect them to hopefully play today on a back-to-back. If not, then Reggie Jackson, 43, would be a great play. Terrence Mann, same deal. Shooting guard, you have same guys I mentioned at the top end. I like Edwards a little bit at $9,100. This type of game. Going cheaper, 7K range, you basically just have Levine, who he's fine, but he's been up and down. He's just a tournament play, not somebody that I'm too interested in today. Vassell is out, so that's going to make Keldon Johnson look better. OG Anunoby only $6,400. He looks good, but he healed $6,200. He looks really good, but I'm going to be going with Karis LeVert as my shooting guard play. Donovan Mitchell is ruled out for this contest for rest purposes. Garland is questionable, so they could be out both of their top 2 players, and that would make LeVert be the number 1 option on offense. He bounced back nicely from a tough shooting performance against Chicago, and he's just going to get a ton of usage. Even if Garland plays, you should still see high minutes in the 30s, in the mid-30s to upper 30s. Small forward, LeBron James, 10-7. He's going to be back from missing a few games with an ankle issue. I like him a lot against the Hawks, not only because he's got a couple days off, which will help him. Still is playing really well before he missed a couple games, playing 40 minutes. He put up 76 against this same Hawks team about a week ago, and they're missing, like I mentioned, Lonnie Walker and Reeves, so it could be even more scoring responsibilities falling on the shoulders of LeBron James. And at home in Laker Nation, he's played pretty well at home and on the road. Nothing too different in terms of shooting percentages. He's averaged a little bit more fantasy points on the road, but that's mainly because he's averaging a little bit more steals and like a rebound. At this price tag, it's going to be one of my favorite studs to look to today. Other options would be Keldon Johnson at $6,800 for sure. Could be a guy that you could go to for a nice value piece. Tobias Harris, same deal. At that price tag, he's definitely in play. Buddy Hield, I like. Going further down in the 4K range, you have like Herb Jones is super cheap. If you wanted to go to like Denny Avdija, he's playing well. They're without Bradley Beal for a few games, so he's going to look like a good value. See where Rui is on small forward. He's power forward, $4,700. He also looks good as a value piece. Speaking of power forward plays, your pay up is going to be, your top pay up is Giannis. He's 12K going up against Charlotte. He looks good. Just a matter of if you're going to look to pay for Giannis instead of looking to like LeBron James. I like LeBron more than Julius Randle, although I do like Randle a good amount as well. He just had a tough shooting performance, 9 of 26, 34%, and he still gave you 60 fantasy points thanks to 7 stocks. But if you played him on prop sites, you probably missed if you took his points or just his like points, rebounds, and assists by a couple. But I think it's a good bounce back spot. He's a couple tough shooting performances, but he's just playing so many minutes that it's going to be tough for him to really struggle. He put up 30 and 13 earlier, and he missed 5 free throws against this same Toronto team, and they play small, so he should be able to crash the glass at times as well. So I like Randall a lot. 8K and 7K range. No, nothing too interesting for me in the 8K range. You don't have anybody besides Jeremy Grant in the 7K range, and he is listed as questionable today, so if he misses, you could get a little bump for like Josh Hart at 65. But I'm looking at John Collins at $6,400 as another great play. Capella is listed out again. He's been playing awesome, getting more rebounding opportunities without Capella there. He's flirting with double-doubles every night almost, getting more shot attempts, and he's been shooting pretty well and efficient, starting to hit his threes, starting to get to the free throw line and make those free throws as well. And the matchup here against the Lakers, it's a good one. They play poor defense. They're going to be looking to like LeBron James maybe to put on John Collins, and LeBron at this point, he's just not really, he just has to focus on the offensive end, not really doing it on the defensive end too much, just with up there in age, but also he's got to spend more energy on the offensive end, keeping the Lakers in games. So I'm going John Collins here, $6,400, love that price tag. Center picks, top end would be Jokic, looks fine against Cleveland, tougher matchup though. 7K and 6K range, you have a bunch that look good. Thomas Bryant at 62, he's playing well recently. He should see good minutes today. The Hawks matching up with Okongwu and probably going smaller with Collins. Good matchup for him. This price tag with the Lakers being shorthanded with some role players could lead to more scoring for Thomas Bryant. I'm going with him right now. But you have a number of other picks that you could look to. Going cheaper, you have like Jakob Poeltl at 58. You have, if you wanted to go to Gobert, he's 64. Valanciunas without Zion and Ingram, he's 65. Turner, 67. Those would be the main pieces I'm looking at. But leaves you with about 4K left for each position. You still have a couple guys I talked about in the 4K range, like Rui Hachimura. Probably get some value maybe on the Clippers side without Wall, maybe without another piece, depending on who rests today. But that's it for DraftKings. Let's jump to FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel point guard picks, same deal at the top end. You have James Harden leading the way. It's a position where you have a good amount of guys that are in the 8K range and 7K range and cheaper that I'm looking at. First guy is going to be $8,400, CJ McCollum, point guard and shooting guard eligible. I think he looks really good when you factor in that he's going to be missing most likely Ingram, and we already know Zion is out. Value pieces, I like Rozier. He's starting to bounce back a bit from kind of a cold start since he's been back from injury. Back-to-back games where he shot pretty good and put up 20-plus points in each one. And he's cheaper than a lot of guys that he probably shouldn't be cheaper than. So I'm looking at him at shooting guard against the Bucks, who play fast, and they do give up a lot of threes. So if you look at him, 28 and 34 minutes back-to-back games, but 21 and 27 points, give you a little bit of peripheral stats, and the price tag has come down on him. So he's definitely one guy to look to in the mid 6K range. And then you have DeAnthony Melton as another guy that you could look to as a cheaper play. Small forward options, looking in the 6K range. If I'm looking in the 8K range, it's going to be for Anthony Edwards. 6K, you have a number of guys that are cheap. OG Anunoby looks fine, but I like Keldon Johnson. I like Tobias Harris without Embiid. LeVert at this price tag, I'm looking at his way without We already know without Mitchell and potentially without Garland again. Power forward plays. Your pay up is LeBron and Giannis are closer in price tag, only separate by 800, so you could definitely make a case to get up to Giannis instead. If you're looking, go with a value piece here. $6,800 Keldon Johnson looks pretty good. Tobias Harris looks good. John Collins looks really good. Looking, I'll go to John Collins on both sites. But once again, the 6K and below range filled with a lot of guys. The Wizards, Rui, and Avdija are a little bit more expensive on FanDuel. They look like better plays on DraftKings. And then last but not least, at center, you have Jokic as your main pay up, but probably look to a value piece here in the 6 or 7K range. At this position, going back to Thomas Bryant at 63, just pretty going to get the minutes against the Hawks, who play Collins and then they play Okongwu as well. But the matchup is solid. Should be both teams struggle defensively, so it should be a high-scoring game. And Bryant can give you points, rebounds, some defensive stats as well. So that's what I got on FanDuel and DraftKings for today for the first look. Thank you for watching. Best of luck. Stay tuned for updates on Twitter, and I'll catch you all next time.